Well, hello again, folks, and welcome back to Senate District 2. I'm Texas Senator Bob Hall, State Senator Bob Hall in Senate District 2. And tonight we have another in our series of meeting organizations out there that are trying to make a difference in Texas politics. And this one we have tonight is trying to make a difference in politics across the country. And they've got a chapter here in Texas that is growing, very active, and I think you're going to find it very interesting. And we have with us tonight Colby Wiltse, who's the state director, and Cindy Najera, who is the Travis County leader in this. And they're going to tell us about what they're doing and how you can get involved in becoming more active to get the government that you want. You know, our founding fathers are very wise, and as you'll see in the background of Colby when he talks, we the people. And that's not just a statement that was stuck at the top of that document. And they didn't put it in big letters just because it would look good. It is the heart of how our government is supposed to work. It is a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. It was the people who created the government. And unfortunately, since those days, the people have kind of abdicated their role, their responsibility in participating in government, to watch what government is doing and make sure that those elected officials are doing what the people wanted them to do. And so CCDF is helping to bring awareness to that. And so Colby, why don't you tell us about CCDF, how it got started and where it is and what your goals and objectives are?
Yeah, happy to. And Senator Hall, thank you so much for inviting us on to this call and giving us this opportunity. County Citizens Defending Freedom, really, if you go back all the way to the 2020 election, I think all of us went to bed that night thinking that this, we were going to have another 4 years of a good president. And we woke up wondering what happened, scratching our heads, right? And so our founders, Steve Maxwell and John Durham, felt the same way and actually got invited to a meeting in Mar-a-Lago. And from there, we're highly disappointed. It was a meeting with a bunch of conservative leaders, and they were very disappointed when they left that meeting at the attitude that they found that most of them shared, that it was, that none of them were wondering what happened. They was just kind of like this, well, we'll get them next time kind of attitude. And but we all know, we the people know that something was amiss in that election. And so they went back to the drawing board, met with pastors, got on their knees, began to pray, and out of prayer, this idea of County Citizens Defending Freedom was birthed. The organization started in Florida back in July of 2020. And we founded our first, stood up our first county in Texas, Nueces County, back in September of 2021. And since then, we've grown as an organization. We're across 3 states right now: Texas, Florida, and Georgia. We're stood up in 11 out of our 13 target counties here in Texas. And really, grassroots, CCDF, our mission is to equip and empower the citizens at the local level, really at the county level. I think a lot of times we think that, who's going to be the next president or the next governor, not that those aren't important, but we think that that's going to change and reshape the country. But really, it's not a top-down approach, it's a bottom-up. It's we the people. So where it really starts, where most of these battles for people's freedoms take place, are right there at the local level, in your school board, in your city council, in your county commissioner's court. And so we're trying to educate and empower folks to get involved at the local level, to be able to stand up and fight back against corruption and shine the light at the local level.
And you're off to a really good start. And we talked about the growth that you've had. And I've been very impressed with it. Been to a number of your meetings in some of those counties there, and you're getting some really good turnout here.
Yes, sir. Yeah, and Cindy is she's our executive director for Travis County, and her team have done a fantastic job getting that county off the ground. And really, what we do at the local level is we're really focused on 4 areas. One of those is education. We understand that there is a massive effort to indoctrinate our children in this country through SEL, CRT, and a lot of that is coming through decisions being made through our school boards and through our SHACs, which are student health advisory councils. And so what we do is we're trying to get parents and people involved at the local level to get involved in what's happening in your schools. Go to your school boards, comb through those agendas, make sure that if something's not right or you see something that's coming into the school that doesn't align with our values, that's going to harm the children, that you need to go and make your voice heard. The second, I don't have to tell you this, Senator, you're all over it, is election integrity. If we don't have fair and honest elections in this country, we can kiss it goodbye, right? So getting citizens engaged, training poll watchers, getting them to work the elections, becoming judges, clerks, involved in what's happening in your election process. We have our faith division, which is probably the foundation of everything we do. And so it's really, we're trying to engage the body of Christ, partnering with local churches. We have a strategy in place really to develop organized groups of pastors, ministry leaders, and citizens region by region that are united in faith and purpose to basically bring a biblical worldview back into governance and society. And then we have our freedom division, which is everything else that doesn't fall within those. That's your medical freedoms, your Second Amendment rights, religious liberty. And so those are really the 4 pillars that we operate in at the local level.
Mm-hmm. Wow. And that does cover it. It covers what our founding fathers had in mind, that was the framework for developing our country into being a constitutional republic. And if you notice that recently the Democrats don't really understand that, as they keep referring to us as a democracy, which we most definitely are not a democracy. We are a constitutional republic, which means that your elected officials have a big say in what's going on here, but they also report to the people paying attention to it. So many elected officials feel they don't have to listen to those that do speak up, but as the voice gets louder, it's getting their attention. It is what I see as a way to get us back to where we need to be to get the people involved. And as we were talking about earlier, government is run by the folks who show up. And when you're not getting what you want, but you're getting what you tolerate. And as long as people continue to tolerate it by not participating, it's not going to get any better. And so I'm really, really glad to see your organization growing the way it is. Cindy, why don't you tell us about what you've done here for Travis County and the organization and how people can get involved?
Okay, well, we have our 3 division leaders. Our education now, we found somebody to fill that position. Our election integrity person is amazing. And, we work the elections, schedule poll watchers. She worked early voting ballot board, which was an interesting position that many of us had never worked before. But she noticed that, 40% of the ballots that are coming in are not postmarked. So, these mail-in ballots don't have postmarks on them. And when we asked, it's like, well, it's before the deadline, so it doesn't matter if they were postmarked or not. And that's just one of the things. Well, they really could have come from anywhere then, if they're not postmarked. So yeah, just little things like that. And we have our freedom pillar lead, and she really is a great researcher, and she's just always, looking to see the connections between money and programs, and she's really amazing. But like we were talking about earlier, these positions, these little elections really matter. For example, we have a new county clerk in Travis County, and her name is Diana Limon Mercado. Well, she used to be she used to run Planned Parenthood, and she also was the Democratic chair. So these people, you know, we're a nonpartisan organization because we're Christian, and we're not supposed to care about that, but they are not nonpartisan. They care. They have an agenda, and that that we need to be very, very careful of who is elected into these positions. And you know, school board, who's the superintendent, who's the school board, who's the city manager, who's the city council, all the county commissioners. In Travis County, the district attorney, his wife is the chief of staff for the county judge. So that's two very key positions that, you know, can be very powerful if they really have the same agenda. So in these coincidences, or, you know, we can call them whatever we want, but they're everywhere. All of these connections are everywhere. And a lot of these people, you know, they've been in training for these positions for many, many years. And yeah, we just really, they're powerful positions. We need to really notice and check what they're doing and make sure that they're doing the right thing and make them accountable to the taxpayers.
Absolutely. And what you're talking about there is the left has been much more organized in getting the right people pushing the left's agenda elected. And the right has been, oh, well, you know, my vote really doesn't count, so I'm not going to show up to vote, or why should I get involved? Nobody's going to listen to me. That has to change. And I think what y'all are doing with CCDF is providing a vehicle for those who realize that things aren't right, that they need to change. And the only way somebody change is by getting involved, but the folks don't know what to do. And so I think you guys are set up to teach people what to do, to tell them about local government, about city councils and county commissioners and school boards and the various elected positions, and let people find the areas they'd like to work in. Whether it's getting information out.
We can give everybody an assignment, you know, just tell us you want to help and what's kind of most interesting to you, which division, and we will give you an assignment. And, you know, you can really make a difference with a few hours of your time, 1 hour a week, you know, 5 hours a week, 5 hours a month, whatever you can do, we can really plug you in to where, you know what's going on, and you feel like you really are making a difference.
Right. And if I may chime in, Cindy's 100% right. And one of the things that we do is, as citizens, it's our job to hold these people accountable. And so when you start getting involved, one of the things that we recently learned is in Texas, there's no formal recall process for elected officials. There's no way to impeach them. So, you know, I think there's some legislation coming through where they're trying to get Attorney General Ken Paxton to give him the ability to sue district attorneys who refuse to prosecute certain crimes. As you know, one of the problems we have in the country and in the state of Texas is we have these rogue Soros-funded prosecutors in office. But one of the ways that you can hold them accountable as a citizen is through a petition process through Chapter 87 in the Texas Local Government Code. And really what that is through the Texas Constitution, Article 5, Section 24. It's a powerful law on the books that we have in Texas that gives the citizens standing to petition the removal of county officials for incompetency and misconduct. And actually in Texas, one of the things we've done is we've gone ahead and filed a petition based on Chapter 87 in the Texas Local Government Code for the removal of the Nueces County District Attorney Mark Gonzalez. And so right now, that petition has been filed in Nueces County. And really, if this goes through and if this is successful, this could be the springboard to holding other corrupt district attorneys around the state of Texas accountable by we the people, the citizen. And so one of the things that, you can get involved with our organization, but you can also help offset some of those costs, because we do have a legal team. But as you know, Senator, anytime you get attorneys involved, it costs money. But you can help support us in our chapters by donating to our cause. You can donate directly to Travis County. You can donate to CCDF USA on our website. But that's another way to help support this organization, because as you know, the left is well organized, they're well funded, and they're on a mission. And so if we're going to beat them and overcome, first we've got to surrender to God Almighty, right? That's the first step. We got to get right with Him and humble ourselves before Him and repent, and then He will come and heal our land. It's a promise in Scripture. But second, we've got to get organized, mobilized, and funded just like they are, to be able to take them on head to head. So that's another way that people can get involved and help with our cause. If they don't have the time or the ability to volunteer, they can certainly help support us. Even just $5 a month goes a long way.
Absolutely, and you will train people. You will provide them with information, help them find what their niche might be. They might be interested in education, working with the school boards. They may be more interested in what the city is doing with the city council, going to meetings and paying attention and reporting back on issues that come up, writing letters, making phone calls, getting involved across the board.
Yes, sir, that's exactly right. And you'd be amazed at what can happen. I know that there was a small group of pastors and citizens that showed up to just a shack meeting. And if anybody knows what a shack is, that's where sex ed curriculum and health curriculum, it has to go through a shack in order to make it to a school board to be voted in to go into a school. Parents can go and get involved in a shack meeting, and you right there, you can stand up and stop radical sex ed curriculum from getting into your local school by just showing up and saying, shining the light, letting them know what's in that curriculum, and holding those people accountable. And it worked. I mean, it's worked in counties across Texas where we've been stood up at, where parents have showed up and gotten involved and just simply said, hey, I don't know if you know what's in that curriculum, but let me show you, and just go through the curriculum, educate the shack board, educate the school board. And you'd be surprised that some of them do listen and do actually vote in favor of the parents. But it takes getting involved and showing up and making a difference.
Yeah, and something that I think a lot of people don't know is that a lot of times they vote on these programs without really looking at them. The school board doesn't know. They trust that it wouldn't have gotten to them, if it wasn't okay, and they don't really have time to go through the programs. And these programs most of the time are digital, so they have links that you click, and it might look just fine, but then you click on something and it's inappropriate. So we just really need to be careful with what our children are allowed to see, and the shacks can help. Parents need to really be paying attention to what is going on in the schools.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. And unfortunately, we have too many of our school boards who just are instructed by the Texas Association of School Boards to just listen to the superintendent and do whatever the superintendent wants to have done. And it really is the other way around. The superintendent is working for the school board, and the school board should be directing what's happening there. And that's one of the reasons it's so important that we get more of the right people elected in most of our school boards. We have some that are good and doing the right job, keeping the garbage out of our classrooms, and some of the sex education that is not sex education, it's actually grooming kids.
Absolutely.
But it's only going to happen by getting involved, paying attention to what's happening in our school board, and where they're allowing this to happen, replacing them with folks who are going to do the job right.
Right. And 100%. One more thing is legal counsel for these school boards. a lot of times they're wrong. And, you know, the school board trustees are not attorneys. They kind of just go by whatever the attorney's saying. And, you know, the attorney is actually telling them bad information. So they're doing things that are against the law because they're trusting the attorney. But once you stand up to them and show them, like, no, this is the code, this is the law, you know, they back down. They back down. We just, again, really need to pay attention, be present, and speak up.
That's it. You've got to be involved. You got to participate, have to stand up and speak up, just like you said. That's the key to it. And so, Cindy, for the folks who listened in the Austin area, when do you meet, and where do you meet? How can they get involved in the Austin area?
Well, we usually meet the third Wednesday of every month, and these meetings really just started in January. They're usually informational meetings. We try to have a fundraiser maybe once a quarter, because, you know, like we spoke earlier, we do need to raise funds for all of these legal, like an amicus brief can cost, you know, $15,000. So we, you know, because we do have that legal backing, we do have to fundraise. And, you know, that's probably my least favorite part of the job. But, you know, if everybody gives a little bit, I mean, $5 a month is super helpful, $10 a month, whatever anybody can spare, we're grateful to have. And yeah, I mean, just, you know, this is our country. We have to save our country. We have to save Texas. We have to save Travis. Yeah, we just got to do our part.
It's a real rescue job for Travis County.
It really is. Yeah.
I have a feeling that y'all can do it here.
Yeah.
Colby, how about the other part of the states? You've got some information I think we can put up on the screen to tell folks how to get involved.
Right. So, like I said, we're in 11 of 13 counties. Those counties include Nueces County, Travis County, Hayes County, Williamson County, Collin County, Tarrant County, Fort Worth, Dallas, Montgomery. So we're in the Houston area. So you can go to our website at ccdfusa.com. You can hit the drop down menu and sign up and subscribe to be see what's going on in a county near you in Texas. If you live near Travis County, I would highly encourage you to subscribe and you know, see what's going on right there in Travis with Cindy and her team. I know they're working hard. They're boots on the ground, building their team out right now. They're doing a tremendous job. But you can also text CCDF USA to 53445. That's another way to get connected with us. And then you can also find us on all of our social media platforms on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Rumble. We also have our own podcast. It's called Liberty USA. And we bring on all kinds of awesome guests, Ben Carson, Chris Ann Hall, just a wonderful group of people that are right there at your fingertips to listen to those interviews. So I'd encourage you again to go to ccdfusa.com and sign up to be a subscriber and then support us however you see fit. But definitely get involved, get connected. We're all in this together. And it's going to take all of us working together to save this country and to save Texas.
All right. Interesting to hear you talk about Chris Ann. I got to know her right after she got fired from her job in Florida for standing up for the principles of liberty, and decided to go on the speaking tour. So we had her here in Texas several times, and that's probably 10 or 12 years ago, at least. And really glad to see her still in it and working to get people to understand what it means that our founding fathers had in mind with the government of the people and by the people. So
that's right. That's right. And where our rights come from.
Yeah,
they come from God, right? No one can take them away. But then they go into the Declaration of Independence and they form the Constitution. And it's our job. It's up to us, we the people, to hold the line for liberty and freedom in this great country.
Absolutely. And that's what y'all are doing. So I really, really appreciate your work. your dedication, your serving God, serving your country, and serving others with what you're doing. Because we do have a country that a lot of people have sacrificed their lives. A lot of blood has been spilled so we could have this great country and live with the liberties that we have. But we can't do that if we don't continue to protect them and take back our rights that have been taken away from us by the left as they have been more active than we are. So I appreciate all of what y'all are doing. I just look forward to watching you grow even more. And folks on the screen, you'll see that how you can contact CCDF and become a part of this, because it's going to be up to us to do that. Appreciate you being with us again tonight here today to learn about CCDF, County Citizens Defending Freedom, an organization you can be a part of and start turning our country around for our children and our grandchildren. They deserve to have us be more involved in protecting our country and getting us back to being the constitutional republic that our founding fathers intended. So thanks again for being here, and God bless you, and God bless Texas.